And away we go. It is the BCJ podcast presented by the Holy Grail right here on BearcatJournal.com. Make sure when you're down at the banks, you stop by and see our good friends at the Holy Grail. Maybe there for a little Bengals tailgate or a night on the town. Downtown, they will get you taken care of. Cold drinks, great food, and a great atmosphere. Support the people that support us and the Bearcats by visiting the Holy Grail. Get yourself a Cincy Light. They will donate 50 cents from every purchase directly back to our good friends at Cincy Reigns. Hi, David.
Hello.
Episode 401. Does it feel any different? Do we feel older?
Well, I'm a day older.
I am a day older.
I'm
a day older.
You're
a year older.
A year older and a day older.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I know. I don't feel any different.
No. Mine's in 6 days. So I might feel older.
Yeah.
45 hasn't been great.
No.
Let's get to 46. Flip the page and see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
I forgot to send you a text. I meant
to. It's quite all right. We probably won't speak again because of it, but it's okay.
I don't think I follow you. Like, do you have Facebook?
Yeah, but I don't really use it.
I know, but I guess we're probably not even. I don't use it either.
Yeah.
So I guess we're not friends on Facebook, where I would have gotten.
I guess not.
The easy way I always remember is Mo is last week.
Yeah.
The 3rd, you're the 10th, and I'm the 17th. We're literally like a little party, a little parade.
Right.
But yeah, what'd you do for your birthday? Anything exciting?
No, not really.
No dinner, no.
Rachel and I are gonna go out Friday night.
Nice.
But no, nothing really. I mean, we did some nice things around the house this weekend, and that was fun. But
I don't want to. We don't need to hear about the fun things you did around the house this week.
Oh, it's just watch just watch football.
I thought you meant to celebrate your birthday.
No.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we're crawling to the end of a bye week. Content wise, Dave, it's it gets challenging.
Yes, we even had an extra day. We had to
because of the Friday game,
a whole extra day.
Yeah. So we've got there's plenty to talk about, and we'll get to previewing Iowa State here shortly. Talk about the NCAA and their just brutal takedown of the Kansas basketball program.
Oh man, I did see a little bit of that today. I mean, did they give them the SMU death penalty or what?
Yeah, it was actually the exact opposite. The exact opposite. They took 5 like level 3 or like highest level violations.
5 level 1 turned into 1 level 3.
Yeah, that's what it was. I mean, that's
if you ain't cheating.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it says, but
there is
but they did have to vacate their 2018 national championship game teams. Oh my gosh. I mean, what are we going to do?
And now Kentucky is the all-time leader in wins.
Good for them.
All over Silvio De Souza. Congratulations.
Good for them. I mean, nothing makes more sense than just vacating things that everybody knows happened.
Right. The AD still had my favorite part though. In their presser today, he said there is a culture of compliance that is ingrained in our entire department and certainly our men's basketball program.
I mean, clearly
you, sir, are a liar.
I mean,
Well,
If they didn't,
now it's all compliant. Yeah, now it's
if
great.
they didn't have a culture of compliance, they would have had many more violations. But clearly, they everything is above board because they only got one minor infraction.
One level 3, one small slap on the wrist,
So,
and next year Wichita State is going to be given the death penalty. Just
yeah.
Oh boy. But anything you want to talk about before we get to Iowa State? You want to maybe we're about halfway through. Maybe take a look at the conference and where everything is at.
I think from the conference standpoint, I think.
Well, real quick,
Yes.
we'll do this segment. We'll do this segment brought to you by our friends at Home Field. It's the Can't Miss Kickoff campaign. They're here to make sure you are ready for the 2023 football season in style. New customers can get 15% off their first order with promo code BCJ23 each and every day from now until that one's old. Let me pull up the other ad. This is very professional.
Yes, good job.
Thank you. They send like new stuff constantly, so you got to bounce back and forth. Home Field's a premium collegiate apparel brand based in Indianapolis. They emphasize their commitment to creating incredibly comfortable, officially licensed apparel with vintage college designs. They have a growing collection of over 150 colleges to choose from, including the Cincinnati Bearcats. So, like I said, get to homefieldapparel.com. Get yourself, stock up on the Cincinnati collection. And if you're a first-time buyer, enter BCJ23. That will save you 15% off of your order. All right, Big 12.
I have
a little bit of a shake-up, obviously. Too many notebooks.
I have too many notebooks because I wrote something down and worthwhile the other day and put it on the board and on the Twitter, and now I can't find which notebook I wrote it down in. So that's a problem. But
I wish you luck.
I kind of remember it. I kind of remember the point I was making. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just talking about the Big 12. Oklahoma now in first place after their Red River rivalry victory, 3-0. The team picked last in the conference, West Virginia, sitting at 2-0, 4-1 on the season overall. Then Texas, Kansas, Iowa State sitting at 2-1 after a rough start to the season. They are now 3-3. Like I said, we will get to them plenty in this show. Texas Tech 2-1. Your team is bouncing back, Dave.
Hey, we're 2-0 in the league, baby. Are they 2-1 in the league? 2-1. Okay.
And then Oklahoma State, BYU, and Kansas State have each only played 2 games. They're each 1-1. TCU and Baylor 1-2. And then Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF all winless in the conference.
Yay, new guys.
Any surprises? Anything? I mean, Oklahoma jumping all the way and beating Texas and jumping all the way up to number 1, I guess is.
I mean, West Virginia is the surprise. I mean,
yeah.
Several people were talking about, like, is Neil Brown going to be the first coach fired this year in all of college football, let alone the Big 12? So I think them being where they're at. Granted, they've only played 2 conference games.
They played 2. They beat Texas Tech at Texas Tech by 7. And then they had to get home from Lubbock, which is difficult.
Home against Texas Tech.
Home against Texas Tech at TCU.
Yeah.
At TCU, yeah.
And then
they didn't have to go to Lubbock.
Very intrigued for tomorrow's matchup against Houston.
Yeah.
Very intrigued. They would be, it's only 2 games, but they didn't get blown out by Penn State. They, beat what is now looking like a pretty dreadful Pitt team. And then you win 2 games against 2 teams that most people probably had at least in the top half of the conference.
Yeah, middle, upper middle. I would say it's where those two were expected to be.
Given what the conversation was, them, and then yes, I would say Oklahoma. Just the fact of how much better they're playing defensively than last year. Like we always knew, Dylan Gabriel is a very good college quarterback. They have weapons. They've always had a good offensive line. They brought in some nice transfer receivers, but like the defense was atrocious last year. And they lost to Texas 49-0 last year.
Yeah.
And to turn around and be as good as they've been, especially on defense, always thought they could be good. Always thought that they would be in the running to go to the conference championship, just mainly because of the talent level that they have. And going into the season, we thought they had an easier conference schedule than maybe some of the other contenders. But, those two teams on the high end would definitely be would fill your boat as far as, some early surprises.
Fair to be moderately disappointed in Texas after losing to Oklahoma, or it's a rivalry game, and what can you do?
Yeah, you lose by...
They dominated the first two games.
It's not the same as UC, but like when you go into the red zone 3 times and you come away with 3 points against a team that you are even with, like you're probably going to lose. And that is with Oklahoma being maybe as dreadful as I've ever seen a really good team on special teams be in one continuous game.
It was shockingly bad.
Like, in every aspect of
that game,
special teams, they were bad. And it didn't cost them because Quinn Ewers throws a couple first quarter interceptions.
The first quarter of that game was doing its best Chelsea Gilchrist impersonation.
Yes.
It was drunk. It was very drunk.
First like 5 minutes.
I know. It's 6 punt.
Yeah, but I still think there's a ton of we're halfway through the year almost. We're going to be halfway through the year come Saturday for the UC, and I still think there's like a ton of ball left and a ton to be decided because these teams are so close. I did some, looked at some of the metrics that I like to look at, and I was trying to find it, and I put it on Twitter, and I don't feel like scrolling on my phone while we're on the podcast, but like it was something like 11 of the top 49 in SP Plus were in the Big 12, and 12 of the top 50 in Sagarin, and 12 of the top 46 in K4, like something like that. Like there, I don't think the conference is as deep and as good as maybe we had thought coming into the season, but it's still like a lot of above average football teams. And
Isn't that what we thought?
Yeah, UC has seen it every week so far. The little mistakes get magnified when you're playing teams that are better than you in Oklahoma and teams that are right there even with you in, BYU, and, you have Iowa State. I think Baylor's fallen back a little bit, but like Iowa State, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Kansas, like they're all going to be very similar from a metrical standpoint. Now, where are these teams better and worse at? That's kind of like what I tried to dig into with Iowa State, because they are very, very close. But is Iowa State good at the things that UC has struggled with? Or is Iowa State bad at the things that UC has been good at? Where are the advantages going to come out in this game?
That's Keegan yesterday was worried about, like, the things that Iowa State is good at are the things UC is bad at.
Well, they have the best secondary that we're going to play.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's close, but their defense is still, I don't know if I'll call it really good. It's not the last couple years like.
They're also pretty young, so there is a case that they are improving with.
I think they certainly are, but like they're
let's not get too caught up on Iowa State. We're gonna get to that.
Right. Okay. Sure.
But the point being, yeah, like, okay, Baylor looks like a game you should win just because their offense has been a dumpster fire and their defense was the gas that got thrown on the dumpster fire. Like,
yeah, there's just a lot. Feels like there's a lot going on there. Their AD had some interesting comments. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Like, just things don't seem, copacetic, if you will.
No. And look, if you want to feel better about yourself as a UC fan, you're 0-2 in conference. You haven't played poorly, but you haven't played well enough to win. But you're not UCF. The wind has quickly come out of the sails on the Gus Malzahn expedition.
Yeah, I mean, they have played, I would say, two of the better teams in the conference at Kansas State and at Kansas. And that's, I guess my thing is based on coming into the season, having a large nucleus of returners on both sides of the ball, having staff continuity, things of that nature. Like, am I surprised they're 0-3? Not necessarily. I'm more surprised that, like, that's how it's looked versus
they look bad.
Versus UC, like, I'm not surprised they're 0-2. But what did we say going in? Like, how is it going to look when you make this step up? And maybe it'll look that way 4 weeks from now if a bunch of guys get hurt or you get run down or whatever. But, like, how did it look? Are we 4-8 and all the Big 12 losses we're not even in the games? Are we 4-8 and we're losing games by 3 points, 4 points, 7 points? Are we 6-6 and everything is, we're kicking 4 game-winning field goal? Like, to me, this year with so much change was more. Yes, of course, I want to win all the games, but like, how did it look? Because that will tell me more about the future than necessary. Like, if we're just getting blown out and guys look totally overmatched, well, you're not going to redo the whole roster again next year and think that that's going to get better.
Right.
So to date, I don't have that worry. Now, I have other worries because the same things are happening. But even against Oklahoma, like, yes, there were times that they were dominant, but they just beat Texas. They're today the top 5 team. Like, and you still hold them to 20. We weren't really in the game from because of the offensive issues, but like, it wasn't like these guys shouldn't even be on the field with them.
Right.
Because like none of these guys could see playing time. It's the old Bengals thing I used to say is like back in the lost decade, how many of these guys, if they didn't play for the Bengals, would still be in the NFL?
Yeah, it's remember, I don't know if you remember this, but like the year before Burrow, one of the conversations that was had, and I think it was something that Paul Dana originally wrote, like, okay, take a look at the Bengals roster and how many guys do you think are top 10 in the AFC?
Right, at their position.
Ooh,
right.
And the answer was Huber.
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
Like Joe Mixon, maybe. Like, if it's Joe Mixon, he's like 8 or 9, right? Like,
yeah. So yeah, I don't.
So the same thing is true here. How many of these guys are top 5 at their position in the Big 12?
Yeah.
At UCF, for that to be 0 with as much stability in what they had returning, what guys would you say for that team like are playing at an all-conference type level?
Yeah, I mean, you can't have many if you're losing games. If you're giving up 29 straight to a not very good Baylor team at home, right, and then you're going to Kansas with their backup quarterback, who, grant you, is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the country. I mean, he's played more than half the damn starters in the country, but he's still a backup quarterback.
Well, he's like their other starter.
Yeah, at this point he is, because like I'm just going to assume Jalen Daniels is out until he's not. Like you can keep telling me that it's back spasms, but like those go away. You're not usually out 3 weeks in a row with back spasms.
Yeah, that's not back spasms. I have back spasms.
Yeah,
I am well versed in back spasms. I've had them without the help of significant medical professionals. Like within 5 or 6 days, I'm back to fairly normal.
Right.
This has been 3 weeks, and it's not only has it been 3 weeks, he missed game 1 with a back injury.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I mean, I hesitate to call him their starter.
I mean, I don't think he is until he can practice. I mean,
right.
He's not playing this week.
And guess what? It don't look like they've missed him all that much.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like Jason Bean is a really good backup quarterback.
Yeah, starting. He's
yes.
1A, 1B. What is that? What we used to call it?
Yeah, I think so.
He's the 1B.
He's the 1A the 1A minus.
But look, try to tell people like that infrastructure down there is not great. And for all the people that were overhyping their recruiting, I've had a glance at the new rankings. Some things are evening themselves out, so to speak, on UCF's recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a step up for everybody, and we'll see how things shake out by the time Thanksgiving hits. I mean, we still have a long way to go, and definitely not, putting anybody out or but I think it's for them particularly, like I feel like we and the people that listen to us had a pretty realistic, we gave them what we thought was a pretty realistic view. If you wanted to take it somewhere else, that's right on you. I think there was a lot of discussion around them as, they turned it, it's unfair, but it went from who of the new teams is going to likely have the most success early.
Who's going to win a game first?
Well, no, it morphed from that, which is a no issues conversation to have, to then taking them as the team that most people said, and then I think, incorrectly pushing that dialogue to, oh, well, then could they maybe challenge for a top 4 spot in the conference? Right. Could they be a dark? It should have just stopped at who is likely to have the best season the year 1 of the new teams, and it didn't. And I think that got the ball rolling in people's minds. I mean, it happens to every fan base. If everybody's talking about you nationally as someone that could have a good year, you're just going to get, hell yeah, that can be us. So, I don't fault people for thinking that, but I think now that that's not looking to be the case, then maybe you now have a little deeper examination of the entire situation.
That whole, we're going to go small and outrun you, it don't look great right now.
Not currently.
It's I mean, they were tiny looking against.
I'm more surprised at their defense.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was on defense. They look small. They don't look like a
in that way. The speed should make up for that if the speed is significant. Now maybe it's not, and I'm not going to pretend to say that I've sat down and watched all their games and know who's in and who's out and whatnot. But, for Kansas is a very good offense. But even such, that game wasn't close from kickoff, and to give up 399 yards on the ground would be quite concerning.
I don't know.
It wasn't
it
wasn't like they broke a couple 80-yarders in garbage time.
No, they just dominated them at the point of attack, like throughout. Just for me, like that's always been kind of the knock when talking about them, like projecting to a higher level, and that didn't change. Like we just kind of like decided that, okay, well maybe not, or the national narrative decided, that's not going to be that big of a deal. But that's why they don't have a lot of guys in the NFL, is because they never really had legitimate like size, like a couple guys here and there, but it was always undersized, speedy guys that they would take chances on that Florida State, Miami wouldn't.
For sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I chuckle at it. Like the thing is, we should have known that it would have been BYU because as an independent, they were playing much more difficult, like consistently difficult schedules.
Yeah.
And they also have grown-ass men. So we should have looked at that and went, oh. And then UCF getting Kansas and Kansas State, which were both picked, I think, in the top 5 of the league.
Yeah.
And then, the Baylor thing. Woo!
I think it was very hard to not have some of the Baylor thing affect their game last week. You can say that we're burning the tape, or the 24 hours to think about it, whether it's a win or a loss. Like, sure, but when you lose a game at home like that, I don't know if that's as easy said, as or done as said.
Yeah, I mean, that is soul crushing. Any way you try to slice it. Didn't Gus just get an extension? Yeah, like last week, right?
Yeah.
Dave?
Mm-hmm.
It was last week or the week before. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just been within the last week or so.
It was before the Baylor, right before the Baylor game, right?
I don't know probably.
Either right before or right after. One of the
something
two.
Like that. I don't think it was after. I think it was before.
So, and then Houston, is he actually on the hot seat?
I mean, if they lose Thursday to his old school that he left to go to an AAC program, he has to be, right?
I mean, he doesn't have to be because he's buddies with
the
money guy.
I think this is not my original thought, but tell me what your thoughts are here. I mean, the money guy kind of did what he needed to do, right? The money guy got him into the Big 12.
Sure.
At what point does that then turn to, okay, now we can, like, yes, we're friends, but you are not winning, and I'm now the owner of the Rockets, and this isn't my little pet project as much as it used to be. And if if we're going to sit here and continue to say we fire coaches for 8 wins, well, you're not even coming close. So I'm not sure how much Tillman is going to care now that the heavy lifting has been done.
Yeah, but he's still the big, he's the big swinging what on campus still.
Yeah, but I mean, Chad, they play West Virginia this week, Texas next week, and at Kansas State the week after.
Yeah.
Like, they very well could lose all 3 of those games. And it could get ugly in a couple of them. I'm not sure West Virginia's offense is quite positioned to make a game ugly for them. But Texas and at Kansas State could be real ugly.
Yeah. Real ugly.
I mean, I'm interested to see. I mean, they wanted Texas at home. They wanted them bad, and now they got them. And I'm going to be interested to see how many burnt orange shirts are in that stadium versus red shirts in 2 weeks.
I'm also interested in that one to see if Texas just says, look, middle finger city.
Oh, 100%.
We're putting 70 on your little
coming
ass.
coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a bye this week. Like, yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any mercy.
No, because Houston has always said that Texas, I mean, because it's Texas, but like,
yeah,
that they were their biggest bone of contention in trying to get into the Big 12.
I don't think Texas has ever really hidden it. It was political. They were like, we're not letting you in.
Yeah.
Like, we have people in power positions that are going to do what we can to make sure you are on the outside for as long as we can keep you on the outside.
So, yeah, I mean, that's when, if you drop those three, I mean, how can you not?
Then you're 2-6. What's the rest of their schedule look like?
At Baylor, UC at home, Oklahoma State at home, at UCF.
I mean, I would say there's some winnable games on the back end of their schedule, but I still think they're the worst of all those teams.
They're all winnable, and they're all losable. That's the thing. It's like they couldn't lose all 4 of those games. They could win. I don't know if I would consider them if they're that having that bad of a year. I'm not sure I could go and say they're all of a sudden going to flip it around and win their last 4. But it's not like, I mean, those would be the teams that they would want to be playing if that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I
That
think
will
it's
be a very interesting case study.
How bad it gets over these next 3 weeks.
Yeah, because that's going to result in, like, you know, we've already seen that roster before where guys have just been like, all right, I'm done until next year. Now they're past the 4-game mark, so you're not going to have guys just redshirting until next year. But we've seen turmoil strike that locker room pretty quickly under Dana. So that part is going to be interesting. But I mean, ultimately, Dave, I think I would say when taking a look, you know, through 6 weeks, it's exactly what we thought, exactly what we said. It's a coin flip league. There are very little, there's very little space separating, you know, we can say what, 1, 2, 3 or whatever, like, are a step above, and maybe the 2 at the bottom are a step below. But nobody, I don't think Oklahoma's 2 steps above.
No.
I don't think Texas is 2 steps above. But when you have a 14-team league with 10 teams that are all within a hair of each other, like, you have no idea how the season's going to turn out. And that's exactly, you know, it's like we do that on Sundays when we do, and you guys do it in the morning a little bit, when it's just like, yeah, I mean, that wasn't expected, but it doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Like, Iowa State plays really well on like a, you know, night game, big emotional game for their fans and their team. They come out and play really well. Or, you know, Oklahoma State is picking themselves up off the mat at home. Yeah, these teams are all really damn close. So don't get too high on 2 games, but also keep your head on a swivel, because you could end up 1-4 and play relatively well.
Right.
If you don't screw up on the big things, you end up losing. Or if you do screw up on the big things, you end up losing. Yeah. Any other final thoughts on just kind of a Big 12 overview?
No, I think we knocked it out pretty good.
This is still, this 3-game stretch for Cincinnati tells the tale. I think unequivocally, this 3-game stretch tells the tale. Anything less than 2-1, there's going to be a lot of soul searching between now and early December for this group. Because that back end isn't as easy as it potentially might have looked a while back.
No, the last two for sure.
So, all right, let's. What are we doing now? Let's do team ticker, and we'll get into our Iowa State preview. Team ticker is a one-of-a-kind sports sign for Bearcat fans. You can see I've got the Sea Paul right here. Aaron has the Bearcat. It's a high-tech retro display that provides daily updates of the latest news, stats, schedules, much more. No subscription required. If you're looking for the perfect addition to your man cave or a gift for that special Bearcat fan, go to teamticker.com and pick up your team ticker today. They have also added into the fold Penn State and Michigan State if you know any miscreants that follow those teams.
But
and now, the Turtles.
But before we do that,
damn it. Turtles Brew. This timestamp is brought to you by Turtles Brew. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, 6% ABV, bourbon-infused sweet tea. They have cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange, vanilla, lemonade tea, and strawberry mint. There's 50 locations in Greater Cincinnati. Visit turtlesbrew.com for more information and locations. A portion of the proceeds go to Save the Sea Turtles. They are in Toledo, Cincinnati, and expanding now in Central Ohio. Once again, turtlesbrew.com. Go stock up. It'd be good for a Saturday morning tailgate, if that's your thing. So, yeah, turtlesbrew.com. They'll get you warmed up on what might be a little chilly, a little rainy, a little nasty in the morning. Hopefully the forecast is clearing up a little bit. Let's take a look. No, it's getting worse.
Getting worse. All the stuff that was supposed to happen Friday night looks like it's now like moving further into Saturday.
I'm getting rain showers early with overcast skies later in the day, 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. Chance of rain is only 40% though. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I got rain all morning between 50 and 30%, and maybe it ends around kickoff, but we'll see.
My guess is you can probably cross me off for the tailgate this weekend.
Oh no, we'll be we'll be underneath.
Not for rain reasons.
Oh, okay.
You realize you have to get there at 7:30 to tailgate, right?
No, we don't.
Yes, you do.
Why?
Parade route.
Not affected.
Okay.
We do it every year. It's never been a problem.
All right. Well, I can't get into my parking spot until.
Oh yeah. See, no, it doesn't go the way we on the backside there.
So I either have to be there at 7:30, which is
not happening.
Absolutely not happening. Or I can't get in until 10:30. So we'll probably be straight into the stadium for me on Saturday. We did that last year. Oh, I saw a ghost running back there.
Oh yeah, he just threw up a little bit ago. Now he's running around. That makes sense, right?
He feels better.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Whatever was bothering him isn't bothering him anymore. Now he feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Put the foot on the gas. Let's go, Dad. So yeah, we did that last year, and we tried to get there a little early and find a way to sneak in. And then, Terry, I don't know what you want me to do. By the time I'm allowed in the garage, I need to be in the stadium. I'm sorry. Talk to the people that schedule homecoming around our birthday every year. How about we do the birthday tailgate next week?
Hey, maybe.
I don't know.
We'll have a big crew at the tailgate next week.
Right. So maybe that's better. I just know that I'm not going to be able to get into my parking spot until 10:30. So maybe I'll send my dad. And if you got any birthday presents for me, he'll be my
I'm sure.
Not you, your mom. I'm sure she would bring me something for my birthday. I I would like to get there early. We always get there early. But if I'm just sitting at a stoplight, cake will be stale by then. If you're just sitting at a stop sign, not able to turn into the thing, I don't.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But let's get to Iowa State, Dave. They had their issues off the field coming into the season. They were expectedly a team that struggled out of the gate, having to deal with those issues. And they seem to have started to figure some things out. You could tell against Oklahoma, they just didn't do a good job slowing Oklahoma down, staying in front. There were a bunch of busted plays in that game. But offensively, like they hit some big plays. They were able to kind of swing with them the first half. Up until the final 5 minutes of the first half, Oklahoma just hit the gas. And then last week they looked really good. It feels like their young quarterbacks figuring it out, and their secondary leads still what is a really good defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think both these teams want to win in the same way. I think offensively they're still not very good, not very efficient. So you see,
but they're better than they were 5 weeks ago. It's kind of
I'm not sure how much that is saying. Like, their numbers are still not very good,
right?
But I mean, this is a game. If UC's, I mean, it's very obvious. But we cannot turn the ball over. They have 10 interceptions. They had 4 last week. I mean, I don't think TCU is quite as good as people thought. Their starting quarterback got knocked out of the game, and the backup just was not ready to be in that type of a situation. Threw 4 interceptions. Or they did as a team. I don't know what the distribution was between starter and backup.
Yeah.
But our defense has to bring it. Plain and simple. They cannot play like they played against BYU. Even in granted, they played all right, especially in the vast majority of the first half. But if you're going to play a team that's not great offensively, then you have to show that you are that defense that we have hoped and thought that you would be, because their defense is going to be good. I think we're going to have more success running the ball than throwing it. So we have to be able to take advantage on the third and shorts and have to be able to take advantage in the red zone, or we're just, not going to probably score enough points and it's going to be a 24-21 type football game. From a metric standpoint, just like 2 weeks ago against BYU, 1 spot apart. Iowa State's 45th, UC's 46th. They're 91st offensively and 15th defensively. UC's 70th offensively and 32nd defensively. FPI UC's 5 spots ahead. Sager and Iowa State's 12 spots ahead. K4 UC's 1 spot ahead, and FEI, which is efficiency, Iowa State's 9 spots ahead. So it's a very even game from those standpoints.
Yeah.
One area that I thought was interesting is there's a stat it's called BCFtoys.com. They do a lot of the efficiency stuff. They do available yards. And so it's a combined available yards for your offense versus available yards for your defense. And then you get an overall ranking. UC's 39th in available yards gained, which means offensively, if we start a drive at the 20, that means we have 80 available yards. How many did we get on that drive? Iowa State's 73rd. So knowing that their defense is pretty good, that tells me their offense has not been.
It's been big player bust. If
you
paid attention, they've been hitting some bigger plays, but they are not sustaining drives.
Right. And UC's offense, when you break it down to drive starting at your own 20, your own 40, and what they call opponent 60, but I'll just call opponent 40.
Right.
UC's top 25 in all of those. in the country in available yards. Now, when you get to points
They're
per
not
play,
scoring.
right, points per play, or, those things, not so good. But, I mean, that shows you, like, a little bit of where this offense is, and if they can just figure out the red zone stuff and figure out those one or two times that they can't pick up a third and fourth and short that kill a drive, like, they're, if you're top 25 in all of those categories, no matter where you start the drive, you have a pretty darn good offense.
Right.
So, where can they find issues with the Irish? Like, I don't think they're great. I don't think they're creating turnovers because they're putting a ton of pressure on the quarterback. I think they're creating turnovers because their DBs are really, really damn good. And TJ Tampa is probably their best DB, is going to be a top 50-ish pick, if I had to guess. He's only got, right? He's one of their corners. Okay. He's only got one of their 10 interceptions. I mean, their two safeties have 7 interceptions.
Yeah. And it was what? 4 against TCU.
4 against TCU.
And then they had 3 in the other conference win, I think. Like 7 of those were like that's they're winning the turnover battle in games that they win. So if you want to beat them, you have to take care of the football.
And you have to force turnovers. And we haven't been doing that either. I mean, they don't give up. They only, Rocco Beck, the freshman quarterback's only been sacked twice. He's not really a runner. I think if he has to, he will. But they want to run the ball. Like against TCU, they ran it. They gave their running backs 32 carries. Eli Sanders had 16 for 99, 6.2 a carry against TCU. Abu Sama is kind of their big playback over their last 2 games. 13 carries, 126 yards, and a touchdown. 9.7 a carry.
Well, that's a little skewed there.
Why?
He had 155-yard touchdown run, like against.
Yeah, he's got a 55. He has
against
a 55-yarder.
He had 6 carries for 59 yards.
Yeah, he's got a 55-yarder and I'm saying, like, he's their.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a 55-yarder and a 39-yarder. So, and then they got
all of his 130 yards are on 2 runs.
2 carries, right?
He's almost the epitome of boomer bust. Like,
but I mean,
if he touches it, but that's a threat. I'm not discounting that he's.
I mean, that's the perfect thing to have if you're going to play low-scoring games, and it's like, hey, this guy might get bottled up on 4 carries, but that 5th one he might take it 60, and that's all. That's all we need.
It's what we've talked about has been missing from the UC offense.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it. What were your thoughts on that yesterday?
I mean, I had no problem with it.
Was he wrong?
That's what I said.
It's my favorite thing it's one of my favorite things in sports, Dave. When everybody says, I hate coach speak, I wish coaches would just
be honest.
Be honest, tell us what you're really thinking, and then
they do.
Does.
You can't say that.
I can't believe he said that.
You can't say that.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think what did I say on the board? If you don't want to be called on the carpet, then break some damn tackles.
If you want to be a home run hitter, and everybody knows I have been trumpeting the praises of Miles Montgomery for a long time.
I said I thought he'd rush for 1,000 yards this year.
Right. If you're going to be the home, why did you say that?
So in this offense, with the way Louisville has had running backs, like I've been saying that since this summer that I thought he should be RB1 or whatever because of the threat of taking it 60 yards. But if you're 29 carries, your longest carry is 16 yards. And I know the situations are different, but when Emory Jones, Ryan Montgomery, and Aaron Turner all have longer runs than you.
Abu Sama that we were just talking about, he has 38 carries, 192 yards, long of 55 rushing, long of 37 receiving. He's got a touchdown, or long of 21 receiving, sorry. But he's hit a couple home runs.
Yeah. And that's what I thought our offense was going to be, a Corey Kiner that is 5 yards at a time, 10 yards. Like, it's funny. You get into, since we're talking running games, 10+ yard runs in the conference. UC is 4th with 38. Iowa State is 12th with 19.
Yeah.
We have 38 runs have gone for 10+ yards, but I think only four maybe have gone for 20+.
Right. So that's what Satterfield was getting at. Like, pay attention to the question I asked and the answer to that question. He wasn't making a grandiose statement. He wasn't asked, Sat, tell me about the running backs. He was asked specifically, in your career as an offensive-minded head coach, your teams always were at the top of the nation in 40+, 50+, 60+. And this team has 2. And they were both Kiner, week 1 and week 2.
Yeah.
At the bye week, what do you do to take a look at that and say, how do we figure out a way to make more of those runs happen? Yeah, and his answer was, first and foremost, the running backs haven't shown they can do it. Correct.
Yeah. Maybe they have I think if they were showing that, I could say very good. But I mean, 12th, roughly 12th in the country, well over 200 yards a game. Like,
right.
No one is looking at the running game and being like, man, like we were last year, or even even 2020. 2020 was a lot of 2 yards, Jerome Ford 60 yards. Like,
right.
Even in 2021, the run game wasn't super efficient.
Right.
Like, I think the run game has been pretty good. They're just not breaking those bigger runs, and then that is putting them in these situations where they're having these 14-play drives that look fine, but then bottom out because you're just not, like, you're giving teams too many chances to make a play and get you on to 3rd and long when you're not getting 20-yard chunk plays at a time.
Or to have a false start on 1st down, or a hold on 2nd and 7, or like just something that puts you behind the chains.
Right.
Because they're gaining yards 10.5, 11 yards at a time. So 1st and 15 or 2nd and 16 is killer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're this offense.
Yeah.
But it's like he wasn't complaining about the running game. He wasn't complaining about the running backs. Like, he was talking specifically about a question I asked about home run hitting.
If anybody watched the Louisville Notre Dame game, you saw one of the home run hitter running backs that he had on the team last year, Jawar Jordan.
What'd he do?
Yep.
Hit home runs. Yeah, two touchdown runs.
I think so. I didn't watch any of that. I was busy watching wrestling.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I know he had at least one long run, but kind of getting back to Iowa State, they got 2 main dudes at receiver, and they're good. Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, who's actually an EKU transfer. Noel's more of the chain mover. I mean, he's 9.2 a catch, long of 51. Higgins is the over-the-top guy, so that's going to be interesting to watch. Have they watched UC film? Are they going to take their shots using him? He's averaging 15.6 a catch, has a long of 67. They use the tight ends fairly well. 2 main tight ends, 22 catches for 216 and 2 touchdowns. But, I think this comes down to on the road, can you get some pressure, which has been sporadic? I think that's fair to say. Against a team that has not really given up sacks. Can you fluster a freshman quarterback into some turnovers? He has thrown 5 interceptions. And can you do a good enough job shutting down the run game that is getting better, but it's still not it's not it's not great. So, defensively, it's stopping the run, limiting the big play, and trying to force this quarterback into some freshman mistakes, giving him looks that he hasn't seen. This is a Brian Brown game. Like, if we're going to talk about aggression and we're going to talk about pressure, Brian Brown's got to show this kid some stuff that he has not seen before.
What is the genesis of their low sack numbers in your eyes? Is it quick game? Is it the offensive line is really good protecting the pass?
I think that, like, I would have to watch more of their games to know that. I mean, I think they just want to run the ball a lot and maybe max protect and try to hit some big plays or quick game. Like, I don't think there's a lot of in between in their pass game. So, I think it's a matter of when they throw, it's either blocked up with extra guys or it comes out really fast.
I mean, if you look, it's not like they only completed one pass to a back. It was Abu Sama for 7 yards. Eli Sanders didn't have a catch. Carson Hansen, I guess he's a running back. I don't know.
Yeah.
He had 2 catches, or another catch for 16 yards. So they're not checking down a bunch, it doesn't look like. Jalen Noel had 7 catches for 34 yards.
Right.
So maybe they're going quick to their wide receivers a lot. I don't know. Easton Dean had 3 catches for 11. Those were their 2 leading receivers against TCU.
What did Jalen Higgins have? Like, nothing?
Jaden Higgins had 1 catch for 22 yards.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But yeah,
but if you look at their top 5 receivers, long of 11, long of 24, long of 22, long of 19, long of 16.
Yeah. So
nothing crazy, but then Eli Sanders had a long run of 29. Sama had the 55-yard touchdown. Contavious Norton had a long of 13. That's 8 plays, 8 plays, 7 plays over 15 yards. And that was about it for their offense. They did almost nothing otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the stat that jumps out to me specifically in this game is, and these are Big 12 numbers, offensively, 3rd down, they're last in the conference.
Yeah. So you can't let them hang around by converting 3rd down. And,
UC's 5th in 3rd downs allowed. They're 6th, and there's like almost no difference. As much as we've as much time as we've spent on UC's 3rd down issues, they're 6th in the league. It just seems like the ones they don't get are in the most crucial moments.
Right. Well, they had the Oklahoma, or was it Oklahoma?
Oklahoma was, yeah.
But other than that, they haven't been bad on 3rd down. Like you said, it's just been the important ones. Right. And I guess the ones they got would have looked worse if they didn't get them. Those would have also been important. Like,
sure.
You don't look at the ones they've got as unimportant until you don't get them.
Yeah. And, talking about their defense, their 3 leading tacklers are all in the secondary. Plus, they account for 7 interceptions. Those 3 guys account for 7 interceptions and 11 pass defense, and then passes defense. And TJ Tampa has 5 pass defenses, and he's not even in there. He's not even in that group. So,
right.
They're number 1 in the conference in yards allowed per attempt. They're number 1 in the conference in passer rating allowed. So, like, I'm not expecting a big game from Emory, and I'm not even sure that that's necessarily on him. Like, they're really good playing pass.
Yeah.
And he can't have the turnovers, man. Like, you can't give this in a game that is going to be close and probably low scoring. You just can't give a team that doesn't have a very good offense extra possessions or short fields to work with.
Right. Take the sack and punt the ball. But, like, I hate that a large majority of the time, but Like, this is a game you can't just be willy-nilly allowing them free opportunities, short field opportunities.
Yeah.
That's where Oklahoma choked them out over the course of the game, is they hit some of those chunk plays early that allowed them to hang around. But once Oklahoma decided, like, you're not getting past us, it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like,
Yeah.
That's how the score jumped as fast as it did, is Iowa State couldn't do anything with the ball. It wasn't like there was a rash of Iowa State turnovers that put Oklahoma in position to score as quick as they did 2 weeks ago. And ultimately, this is just a team that's not going to hurt themselves, right? They don't turn it over. They don't take sacks. Not a lot of penalties. They're not good on offense, but they do have like some splash potential. But they are 100% going to Luke Fickle it and muck it up as much as they can and try to win with their defense.
Yeah, and they're going to play 3-3-5. So, how much can we not cancel out the DBs, but like put them? They're leading tacklers, so they're obviously willing tacklers. But like, make them make plays. Get to the second level. Get creative in the run game. Get creative with Aaron Turner and Braden Smith and Evan Prater and all the back. Like, this game is going to be won because we run the ball good enough. We maybe hit a couple big plays on them, and we don't make the bad turnovers and force some of our own. Like, that's been we just aren't. 3 interceptions on the year. It's just not. You can't be a pressure team and be inconsistent against the run or inconsistent in your rushing and only get 3 interceptions.
Right. Well, you're not getting to the quarterback.
Well, yeah, but you're
part of it.
You're not covering anybody really good either. I mean, they're giving up.
But you're having to cover a lot longer.
Yeah, they're giving up.
If nobody's like, it's a bad combination of they're not great in coverage and they're not creating the pressure to hide coverage.
Yeah, I mean, giving up 8.1 yards an attempt is not good. It's not good.
It's not great, Bob.
We've talked about how teams are not completing that many passes, but the ones they're completing, they're all going for roughly 15 yards.
Well, I think this is what Keegan was getting at. Like, Cincinnati struggles to stop the big play. That's like all the Iowa State offense lives on. They thrive on that because they can't move it 5 yards at a time. Cincinnati has turned it over too much. Iowa State loves to take it away. I mean, it's when you look at it on paper, he makes a valid point that like some of the things that Cincinnati has struggled with are things that are reasons why, not just things Iowa State is pretty good at, but reasons why Iowa State has won games.
Yeah.
That's frustrating a little bit, right?
For sure.
What do you got in terms of how you think this is going to play out?
I mean, I think it'll be, especially if there's some rain involved, this will probably not be your this will not challenge Ole Miss LSU and LSU Missouri for the most aesthetically pleasing college football games. I don't know why, but maybe it's just laws of average. Like, I just don't think we can continually be that bad in the red zone or that bad on 3rd and short. And, I would think the majority of the team is about as healthy as you can be coming into a game in the middle of the season. And I think UC finds a way to win, but I mean, it's going to be, I'm going to say like 24-20, 24-21, something like that.
What's the line?
I think I
saw the line was 5.5.
We opened at 5.5. I think. Here, let me just tell you real quick. It's moved a little bit, but I mean, it's still very early in the week. I think I've seen it. Let's see. DraftKings has it. UC -5 over under 45, and then FanDuel. FanDuel has it at UC -4.5 over under 44.5. So kind of right where I see it.
Yeah, that under number is just enough to tempt you to take the over.
Yeah. It's generally the
kind
point.
of the point. That's generally the point. I get it. I still think I wouldn't be shocked at 20-17.
Oh, me neither.
In this game.
17-13, like
right. Especially if it's not great weather. And both teams are just like, well.
I just look at it like if UC doesn't figure out a way to hit some bigger plays against this defense with that
great secondary.
Right. How many times are they going to go 12 plays and score a touchdown?
Right. Unless they just have success running it 5 yards at a time.
But that's very hard to do against a good defense. That they're just going to
I agree. I'm saying, like, that's the path to 12-play drives is running it against them because the chances that you're going to, go to 3rd and 7 and complete it for 9 yards aren't great against this defense.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't.
Outside of a shootout, I don't think anything's going to surprise me. But
yeah, I mean, I felt better about this prior to them beating TCU 27-14.
I still though look at it. They forced 4 interceptions, knocked the quarterback out of the game, and still only scored 27 points.
Yeah, I feel you. And that was I did look. Chandler Morris was their starter, right?
Yes.
He threw 2 of the interceptions. Then Josh Hoover, their backup, threw 1. He was 11 of 19 for 119 yards and a touchdown with an interception. And then JP Richardson, who I'm guessing is a wide receiver, threw a pass and it was intercepted.
So don't do that.
But Rocco Beck was 16 of 28 for 138 yards.
Yeah, like if Rocco Beck does that again this week and we don't throw 4 interceptions, I feel pretty good about our chances. I mean, like seriously, like.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right. What else you want to talk about? You got anything? I guess we'll timestamp that real quick. That is the Turtles Brew timestamp. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, bourbon-infused sweet tea, cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange, vanilla, lemonade tea, and strawberry mint. 50 locations in Greater Cincinnati. Visit turtlesbrew.com for more information and locations. A portion of the proceeds go to Save the Sea Turtles. They are in Cincinnati, Toledo, and expanding now in Central Ohio. Simone Family Tailgate. It is, I guess, your birthday tailgate.
I guess it is.
Apparently, it was supposed to be my birthday tailgate with cake and everything. If Carrie, maybe your aunt can figure out a way to get me through the parade into my garage. She's got that kind of juice, doesn't she?
I don't know. I mean, probably not.
Probably not.
It's been a minute since she worked there.
I know. I'm just, I'm trying not to make your mom mad. Yeah, I'm not showing up to the garage.
I mean, I could pick you up. You could put your car somewhere. I could pick you up somewhere. You could have Keegan after the game take you to your car, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
I still have my dad with me. It's a hassle.
All right. I'm trying to think of ideas for you.
Yeah, just randomly park my car somewhere in Clifton.
Park it at my aunt's house downtown. That's what we do.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure out something. But odds aren't great for the Simone Family Tailgate this week. I'm just saying.
Hey.
Noon game always makes the over-under tough. You're going out to dinner Friday night for your birthday. You might not be firing on all cylinders in the morning.
Yeah.
It might be a lower number.
I got to bring it for the team, man. You know, they need all the juice.
We'll go Jello shots and beers collective 9.5.
Oh well, wait.
Well,
9.5. I mean,
you do 7 Jello shots.
I mean, I don't even have to try to get to that number.
All right, 12.5.
That one seems more reasonable. I don't know. I still think we can go over, but
that's a lot of alcohol by noon, Dave.
There's no kid at the house Friday, so you know, I don't have to worry about him waking me up at 5:30 in the morning on Saturday. So that might help a little bit.
Daddy.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to get to this week?
No. The Hoopers went to Chicago.
They did. This is a West thing. They've done Indy. They've done Columbus. I think they did Chicago this year. It's just kind of a retreat, a nice little getaway. I think maybe we'll have some information Sunday, Monday about a super secret scrimmage.
Oh, one of those.
I believe the first one of those is Sunday.
Very secret, if we know the date.
Against a team that has a very solid protection that they carry around on their back at all times.
All right.
That should be in the ACC, that's in the Big Ten, and nobody knows why. It's still the one that when they come up, I'm like, ACC.
Yeah.
Just in my brain through everybody else but Maryland. Maryland, I'm still like, no, they're in the ACC.
Yeah, it would seem to make more sense that way.
Even Rutgers, I've just gotten used to. Like, they're a Big Ten team now. I'm telling you. And Maryland, I have not gotten over. Like, my brain has not accepted that.
No, it's still weird. I agree. No, nothing else. The men's golf team bounced back today. They were at a cool event down in Texas. They do a Big 12 match play event.
Yeah,
won
a top 7 finish.
Won both their matches today against Texas Tech and TCU, I think, or Kansas State. Kansas State, I think. Both of those teams made it to the NCAA tournament last year, so they're off to Florida this weekend for what I believe is their final event of the fall season. So, we'll see.
Well, they had Texas in the first game, in the first match.
It's very strange. Like, I was trying to figure it out because there's 14 teams, so it was almost like they seeded it as the second round of the NCAA tournament, because UC was the 9 seed and played Texas, which was the 1 seed. But then you had the 14 seed playing the 5 seed or whatever. I'm like, why is Texas not playing the 14 seed?
Because they seeded it like a 16 team.
Yeah, so
tournament and gave buys to fill the gaps.
It was strange that the worst team seed wise was playing Texas. So yeah, kind of whatever, luck of the draw or however it goes.
Outside of Texas, they did really well though, right?
They lost both matches yesterday. They played pretty well, but kind of. One of them they kind of got out to a big lead and ran out of juice. But they've got still a pretty young team, and I think I don't want to say anything like one of their main, because I don't know, but their main guys from last year's team is not playing very well at all, and I just don't know if that's injury related or I haven't had a chance to ask Doug, but
sometimes in golf you just struggle for
Ty is definitely someone that I was looking at to be one of their top one or two guys, top three guys this year, and just did not play well this fall.
Shit happens.
Yep.
I think we're gonna have a little bit more women's team coverage, or at least a somewhat of an increase with this new staff. Hopefully they win. Like that's I've had.
Seems like I saw the tweet. Ticket sales have gone quite well. So yeah, hopefully they put some early wins on the board and help build some momentum.
The good news is I think they have a complete understanding of that's what this is about. Like the reason that this program has not taken off is because they haven't consistently been able to produce a winner. And I think there's enough women's basketball support in this area. Like there's a lot of really good women's players that come out of the high school ranks. There's good programs in the area. Like if you win games, you're going to be able to garner support and ingratiate yourself into the community and become kind of a thing. Guess what? Until Jeff Walz got to Louisville, it wasn't like Louisville women's basketball was like a thing. And now they're putting 13,000 fans in the Center. Why?
Yeah.
Because they win at a consistently elite level every year. And people want to come watch them play. So I was there for a little bit Tuesday. The pace was encouraging. There was very little, walking it up the floor and trying to slowly get into methodical sets. It was get the ball and go.
I will say, did you happen to see the tweet about Biggie McLean's daughter?
Yep.
Are you kidding me? She's 12 and she's 6'5"?
Yes.
I mean, my God. I know he's a huge dude.
So,
but
so is
12?
The mom was a center and it's like 6'6", 6'7", something in that range.
12?
So she's yeah. So
who the fuck guards her in high school games?
Dave, she's playing middle school games.
Well, I mean, some places they know they can move them up to high school.
I know, but I'm saying, like, it's like me walking into one of Kelsey's games and seeing a girl that's like 6'3" in 8th grade, like outside hitting, like she belongs in the fucking Olympics. Like, yeah. So this is one of my favorite stories. Biggie's daughter is about roughly a year younger than Kelsey. And, obviously I was really close to everything back then. And he had his daughter while he was still at UC. So, we would talk about our daughters and whatnot, what have you. So I think Kelsey was like 3 and his daughter was 2.5, something along those lines. And they had one of those sunshine strollers that's just like the pipes. And then like the cloth.
The beach stroller, yeah.
Yeah. She was like 2.5, 3 years old. And her arms and legs, like, it was like an adult was trying to sit.
Hanging out the sides.
Like, she, like, you can tell she's just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, there's no chance I can fit in this thing. And she was like 2.5, maybe younger. She might have been 1.5 years. I don't know, but she's always been just long and like it didn't shock me. Well, there was a picture of her last year. She came to a game and like she had pictures with the team, and most of the girls were like middle of her chest to her shoulder. And I'm like, those are 20-year-old college athletes, and that is an 11-year-old girl. And she is 6 inches taller than all of them.
If she ends up being a good player, like she can go wherever she wants.
From everything I've heard, like she's coordinated, like she's not, the things that you normally have to worry about. Like she, and she had a mom and dad that both play basketball, so like she's had basketball in her life, since she was born. So I would expect that's going to be one to keep an eye on. She's over here in mine. I'm going to have to check out the girls scene now. In Kentucky, they can play up. They can play in high school.
I would imagine she will be.
Yeah, that's how Travis Perry, I think he averaged like 14 points a game as a 7th grader at the varsity level. So
I needed to go to high school in Kentucky.
For what?
No, just because like if 7th graders could play up, then I might have been like halfway decent.
Against the 7th graders because the other 7th graders moved up?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were saying you could have played up.
No, absolutely not. No.
It's one of the things that that hurt Kelsey's team is the girl who would have been their best player played up as as an 8th grader. So
to me that makes no sense. Like if you're good enough to play varsity, then sure, but like what's the point in moving you up like in junior high?
She played freshman as an 8th grader.
Yeah. I mean, but
Matt
asked about getting Coach Martin back on the pod in the winter, and we have a great relationship with him. So I'm sure if there's a time, where there's like a kind of a dead period in basketball season, if there's like a week off or something around the holidays, I'm sure Doug would be willing to jump back on with us.
You might be on your own for a week around the holidays.
He's an excellent interview, so I'm more than happy to talk to him.
I think I'm going to take a holiday break vacation, Dave.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
I don't know. I've never done a cruise.
Oh.
So I'm not big on it. I don't love the idea, but Kelsey wants to go on a cruise.
Then why are you going to do it?
I don't know.
I'm not really into this, but let me spend a couple $1,000s on it.
I'm in an experience phase of life, Dave. I'm gonna experience some things.
I'll send her to like your dad and just go to hedonism or something. You want an experience?
I've been there twice. So on a cruise, I figure I can just tell her don't fall off, and I'll see you back at the room at 10.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some of the island trips. I don't know if you want to do that.
Well, no. I would accompany her if we got off the boat. But on the boat, I don't know. We've been trying to figure out a vacation for 3 weeks, and we haven't settled on anything. A cruise was just the next thing that we're checking out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm desperately waiting for 5 years to pass so I can start going back to Jamaica and the Bahamas and whatever, just solo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Taking a 13-year-old with you.
Nah.
Probably not great.
Nah. Probably not.
Oh, we hit on Kansas. I don't think we need to say too much more about that. I don't think.
Nah.
Anything else out in the college football world you want to get to?
No, I don't think so. I saw Dion was complaining about 10 o'clock Eastern kicks. I'm like, well, you're joining the Big 12, so guess what, buddy? I hate to break it to you, but I think you're going to be getting some of those as long as you stay in Colorado. Being one of the most furthest west teams, just like we're probably going to be getting a lot of noon games, they're probably going to be getting a lot of 10 o'clock games on ESPN and Fox. So
what's he complaining about? That kids aren't
I don't know. I didn't read I saw a tweet. I have not had a lot of time to read a lot of things that aren't specific to this podcast and things on Twitter that I need to see, to get out to the fans. But
right.
So, but no, I don't know what he was not happy about.
There you go, Dave. Heartland College Sports has Cincinnati versus Colorado in the Independence Bowl.
Well, we got to start winning some games before I'm ready to start talking about possible bowl matchups.
So do they.
Well, I think they have some games that they should win coming up, and probably feel a little bit better about, their team.
Which ones?
I don't know what their schedule
Cal
is.
and Stanford.
They've already got 3 or 4 wins, which is more than we thought they were going to have.
But just looking at that league, like that's probably the best league in the country right now, isn't it?
Top to bottom, yeah, I think so, because Washington and Oregon are really good. I think USC has a great offense. I'm not sure their defense is going to carry them through some of these games.
Yeah.
And then you've got Oregon State, UCLA, Utah, and Washington State are all ranked. Yeah, I mean, Colorado's 4-2 and still gets to play Stanford and Arizona. And then their other ones are UCLA, Oregon State, Washington State, and Utah. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to be right on that, but they're good enough to knock off one of those, to knock off a UCLA, a Washington State, So, I think
Chip Kelly running one of the most dominant defenses in the country. How about that?
Dude, I had Washington State plus 3.5. They had 1 touchdown. It was like a 90-yard interception return.
Yeah.
They didn't do shit on offense.
That UCLA defense, I was like, with that, I saw their numbers Sunday in one of the recap shows. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Nobody's moving the ball on them at all.
No, there's some fun games this weekend too. It's not like a big time blockbustery type crazy weekend, but Ohio State at Purdue. Purdue always gives them a hard time at home.
They're terrible though.
Yeah, but I mean they've been terrible all the years that they've beaten them too.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's not a good Ohio State offense. So for some reason, Ryan Day has not figured out to throw the ball to 18.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Does Marvin Harrison Jr. need to go in a press conference and say I'm always fucking open?
Yeah, maybe. I'm pretty happy the UC game's at noon because I really want to watch this Oregon-Washington game at 3:30.
Yeah.
That's a big time game. And then I would say Miami, North Carolina would be a big game, except Miami did like one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life last Saturday. Well, I shouldn't say seen. I woke up to. And then USC Notre Dame, and then 8 o'clock UCLA Oregon State is a fun game. So yeah,
could be a rough weekend for our boy Freed.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 it's not a loaded slate, but there's 3 or 4 really nice games.
Can the Notre Dame offense score enough to keep up with USC?
Well, USC's defense stinks. And I think this will certainly be the best defense that they've played.
Yeah.
But probably not.
Their offense was inept against Louisville.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Probably not. I mean, as bad as USC's defense is, Notre Dame's bad. If Notre Dame's bad offense scores 28, I still don't think that that's going to be near enough.
No, 35, 42.
Yeah.
USC's going to score that many points.
It's at Notre Dame now, so
Yeah. And they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah.
Connor wants to know what our thoughts on the possibility of Gonzaga.
Connor, are you familiar with my now response to all things conference realignment? Sure, why not? That's my none of it makes any sense. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but this is clearly something that Brett Yormark wants. I think there's a lot more pushback than maybe people realize. I saw somewhere this could be figured out in 1 to 2 weeks. I find that very hard to believe. I don't think they have the votes to make it happen right now.
I think if Yormark brings Gonzaga and says, let's do this, he'll have the votes.
I mean, I think they're still working out stuff for the new Pac-12 team.
Yeah, but the rest of that tweet was that Gonzaga might be willing to pull SMU.
Sure. I mean, they're going to have to be. They're not going. I mean,
well, but in that, like, they took SMU took nothing.
Yeah,
we have our own money. We're good. Like, if you bring in Gonzaga and they're not taking any money for like a considerable window.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Gonzaga's booster base is quite outfitted the same way as SMU's is.
There's not significant oil money in Seattle.
No, I don't believe there is. No.
Huh. That the fishing economy doesn't create billionaires all over the city.
Yeah, I don't think salmon farming quite hits the same as oil and natural gas and whatever.
Just tossing salmon at the market. Well, I mean, Connor, the interesting thing would be like they wouldn't get a football cut, obviously.
No.
So they'd have to place a value on the basketball cut, and then drop that down another whatever percent. So, but the thing is, if you're Gonzaga, they're only getting what, a couple $100,000 at most.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about just general exposure for them.
Sure.
And yes, they would get more money, but like, it's not having like 4 games a year on ESPN and all of them starting at 11 o'clock, conference games and them starting at 11 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah.
But
I don't care. Kansas at 9 o'clock on a big Monday.
But I don't care about any of that because like we're not getting any of that money. It's like I don't give a rip what percentage they take or don't take. Like I think the conference is fine the way it is. Like no one's gonna say, "Oh, now that they've added Gonzaga, they are definitely the best basketball conference." Like they kind of have been, and they kind of still will be.
There's also no guarantee if Gonzaga moves to something like the Big 12 that they're Gonzaga anymore.
Right. No guarantees.
Yeah. What home game at 5:30 are you guys looking forward to the most this year?
I don't even know.
Texas?
Eastern Washington? Merrimack?
Howard? Oh, wait. Howard's on the road.
Do we play? No, I don't even like know the schedule enough to be like this one. So Texas will be fun.
And it's like the first home game in the Big 12.
How about that? Like football first home game in the Big 12 gets Oklahoma. Basketball first home game in the Big 12 gets Texas.
Here are the home games, Dave. Texas, TCU, Oklahoma, UCF, Houston, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, West Virginia.
I'll say Kansas State.
Okay.
Just because, you said Texas, so I'll say Kansas State.
I mean, obviously West Virginia would be the answer, but Bob's recycling habits
are hard.
Well, he over recycled.
It's hard to pick up all the cans in Pittsburgh and think you're in Columbus.
It's hard to drink all the cans in Columbus and think you're in or Pittsburgh and think you're in Columbus, right? Are we going to the Fog? Oh yeah.
Yes, that's the plan. No, we'll see.
I'm going.
You're going. Oh no, I'm saying me specifically. When is that game?
January 22nd, Monday night.
Okay.
9 o'clock.
January 22nd feels like a date that I might be able to make, so we'll see.
All right.
We shall see.
Have to come back on it's about a 10-hour drive. And probably come back on the morning of the 20, mid-morning on the 23rd, start making our way back. I mean, the perfect world scenario would be Bengals Chiefs in Kansas City that Sunday. So then we just go to Kansas City and hang out. Like maybe we don't go to the game or whatever, but hang out and then make our way to Lawrence on Monday.
That would not be the AFC Championship game, though.
No, that would be round the
division round.
Yeah. Which they might end up there as opposed to a championship. That happens sometimes.
Who knows?
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, we're going to the Fog. I'm going to the Fog. Taryn is going to the Fog. I believe Aaron is joining us. Keegan plans to join us.
Where are we getting all these? Where are we getting all these tickets from?
I'm getting media credentials.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can all apply for media credentials.
I'm sure
we
they're
all
not
work
gonna,
in the media.
They're going to give 9 guys at Bearcat Journal credentials.
Well, Taryn and Mo would be with the radio station.
Yeah, true.
And then there'd be like 5 of us.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, there's not, the whole city's not going to come. They might. I don't know. Well, if the Bengals play in Kansas City that Sunday, then everybody will be like, oh, we'll just stick around.
Yeah.
Go get Cincinnati's first game at Allen Fieldhouse on Big Monday early in the season. That should be great.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. It should be, I'm excited. It should be really cool. I have not been there. It has been on my bucket list for a long time. So to go out there and get to see UC in that game would be pretty damn cool.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm out of stuff to talk about.
Me too.
You? All right. Then that means let's get out of here.
Gotta go see how this kid's doing.
All right. He hasn't walked by a little bit. So.
No, I'm hoping he's asleep, but I'm betting he's not.
We'll see you next week. Thanks to the Holy Grail. Thanks to Turtles Brew, Home Field Apparel, Team Ticker.
Team Ticker.
There it is. We'll see you next time. That's the BCJ podcast right here on BearcatJournal.com.